Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How do you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Danni Benson. This is my show. I'm proud of you, sis. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I have an amazing guest on today. It's a nonprofit called EdeYouth. Okay, this woman is very special. I'm so happy she is on the show. She's amazing philanthropist, amazing mentor to the children. She is a founder of EdeYouth. See, I'm Haitian American, so I'm gonna say it in Creole. EdeYouth. In American, it would be EdeYouth. You would pronounce it that way, but I'm gonna pronounce it the French way. Is EdeYouth, means help the youth. She's on my show today, and I am so proud of her, sis. I went to her gala last November, and they raised so much money for children in need in Haiti. Haiti is going through so much turmoil right now because after the president was assassinated a couple of years ago, we still don't have a president. The gangs have basically taken over the country, but there's so many good people in Haiti, and I pray that we can have elections one day and we can choose a president one day, and I have so much hope for Haiti. I went there January 20th. I had a speaking engagement in Haiti, and I spoke to an amazing young woman about entrepreneurship and the importance of being an entrepreneur, having and building your own small business and hiring people, because small business are the people in this country, in America, that hire the most people out of any organization. So shout out to small businesses. But Betty Aristide-Augustin's journey from Haiti to Brooklyn and her educational achievements are inspiring, to say the least. Her dedication to community involvement, especially with EdeYouth organization, showcases her commitment to making a positive impact. Overcoming personal challenges, she has found purpose in mentoring and guiding others. It's heartening to see individuals like her striving to create a healthier, more productive generation. I mean, me and Betty have so much in common. We will be working together in the future. Say, welcome Betty to the show. How are you?
Hello, Danny. Thank you for having me with you in your show this evening. Thank you for coming and supporting the youth. I am doing great. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you. Thank you.
I am. It is an honor for you to be here. I mean, you are a pillar in the community, especially in the Haitian community. Everyone knows who Betty is because I know you work so hard in giving back, especially to the youth, and especially to what's also in my heart about mental health and the point of mental health in the youth. So please tell me. I know you're born in Haiti. You came here when you were 13. First of all, I wanna ask you, how was that experience? Just first coming to America, because you could relate to the kids, especially because you were once in their shoes.
Correct. Coming here at the age of 13, coming to a whole new country, new language, it was an experience. And also moving in with my dad and my stepmom. So my dad left Haiti when I was 5 years old. Practically, I didn't even know him. So I was moving in with two strangers where I had to get to know my dad and also get to know his wife. And also there was another, she had a daughter in the house. It was a lot to process at 13 years old, but we overcome it, right? Because that's what life is about. You there's changes, it's new, and you adapt. So we learn to adapt, but it was challenging. It was a challenging experience.
Yes, and in our communities, that's what happens a lot, and a lot of kids think they're being abandoned by their parents. My parents came from Haiti in the 70s, and my dad had to actually leave my brother behind. I was actually born here. Me,
Mm.
me and my siblings with my mom, we were born in America, but my dad had a son when he came here, I think in 1970. Um, he had to leave a son behind, my brother Harold.
Mm.
So I get to speak to a lot of kids. Sometimes they feel like they don't understand the process of in coming here to America. Sometimes you have to leave your family behind, and what happens is you get sponsorship when you come here, and then you know what happens, and then you build your fort here, and then as you build your fort here, you go get your children. But my brother didn't understand, so he felt like my dad like abandoned him.
Mm-hmm.
But because I speak to a lot of Haitian kids, especially I have a cousin who just came from Haiti that we sponsored, and she left all her family behind. And I know how hard it was for you, because I see how hard it is for her, because thank God she has FaceTime.
Yes,
She
we
gets
didn't
to
have that then.
you didn't have that back then. So she at least gets to see her mom, her sister, actually her whole family, her father, her mother, her sister, her brother is still in Haiti. But we were only able to bring her here. So now she has to be the one to build a fort for her family to come, and pull her family to come in, like her maternal family, which is her mother, her father, her brothers and sisters. So just seeing her, she got a job. She has to learn how to take the bus. She has to learn English. I can't even imagine you 13-year-old doing this, but I feel that that's what gave you your empowerment. Am I correct?
That's correct. So coming here at 13, being in a school, I remember, I tell you a quick story. I know in the school, I come from Haiti with a French background, and one of the children was sharing out gum, right? And I wanted a piece of gum, and I went and asked one of the young girls, like, may I please have a gum? She said, what? I said, gum, please. So, because Gum in French is gum, right?
Mm.
So, for the entire semester, that was my name. I was gum for the whole semester in junior high school. And what these things do as a child, it really touch, bring you down a little bit, right? But these are the conversations that we want our parents to have with our youth, like your father who brought your brother here. There's a conversation. It's not abandonment, but this is what I have to do. With EdeYouth, we really train our parents to understand that each young person have feelings, and they understand. Have a conversation with them, explain to them what's happening, just like a nurse when you go to the hospital, right? When they walk in the room, they introduce themselves, then when they're going to touch you, they tell you what they're going to do, because at the end of the day, that's their body. You have to explain that. It's just same thing with the young people. Just because you are a parent doesn't give you the ownership to do whatever you want with this child. And I think a lot of that can be alleviated if we talk and prepare the youth that is coming in. I didn't have that, but now we try to incorporate that in our classes with our parents.
And that's why mental health is so important, because sometimes it becomes a generational trauma where My parents used to say, "Do as I say, do that, do as I say, not as I do." Like my parents, I love them to pieces. Cared about my feelings TPT like a little bit, but you know how parents are. Back then, I don't know how. I could speak of my experience that children didn't have opinions, children didn't have feelings. You just had to follow directions, and what they said had to go. So now with my kids, I'm always checking in.
Correct.
Always. I don't really do gentle parenting with my children. I think because I have to teach them some sort of like disciplinary gentle parenting. I tried it. Does gentle parenting has to do with certain kids. It works well. You got to find what works well with your kids. Okay. Um, what works well with my kids is constantly communicating about the feelings. How are you feeling? Like my daughter told me a couple days ago, "You're so mean," because I don't want them on the iPad, right? So I had to ask her how she felt about it to break it down to her. She thinks I'm punishing her, but I'm not punishing her. I need her to do her schoolwork. I need her to do what's more important first, and then we can discuss maybe being on the iPad for an hour. Um, so mental health is key in communicating with your kids. Back in the day, we used to like, you know, I guess I won't call it physically abuse our kids. What did we do back in the day that we should not really be doing right now?
Physically or emotionally?
Just everything. I mean, sometimes I feel like we have to clean the board slate. Whatever we learn, we can't repeat with our children right now. So
First,
go
I
ahead.
want to. I want all our listeners to understand to give your parents grace, right? Because they didn't know. If they don't know, they can't give you something they didn't know. They're only giving you learn what they learned from their parents. It's learned behavior. So now that we, Danny, myself, and some of you that are listening, you're exposed here. You know better. Like for example, with the situation with your daughter, I read a book where it says a lot of time we tend to give the punishment after, but was there a discussion before that? Was a discussion say, hey, honey, if you do this, you do this, you do your homework, then we're good. You can play with your iPad. Or she just decided to do it, and all of a sudden you bring in the punishment. She's
No.
right. You're mean because you
No,
didn't
no,
have
no.
that
She knows.
discussion, if that's the case.
No, she knows. She
She
knows
knows.
Monday through Friday, it's no iPad. What
Good.
I like about my one of my like daughters is she's like a hustler.
Mm.
Like, and I don't want to take that out of her either. So I have to be. That's why I like to communicate with her, because I still want her to have the drive and the hustle. But she's very like, all right, I finished my homework. She knows she's not supposed to be at the iPad all, but then she'll come with the sob story. Well, what else I'm supposed to do? So she is a very smart child. And I did tell them no iPad Monday through Thursday, but they know I have this soft side of me that sometimes I break a little bit. So that's when she takes advantage of that and goes on the iPad. But I tell her she has to ask me first,
But
right?
I love it though. But if she didn't do it, she wouldn't be a child.
I
Because
know.
that's what the mind does, right? The mind is constantly, you know, evolving and trying to learn certain things. Get to know you, see how much she can get away with things, and what she's doing is normal. It's completely normal. But going back to your question, what some of the things that we call abuse with our parents in the
Mhm.
past, hating a child for having an opinion, that is abuse. We have to understand that children have feelings. Their words matter. And a lot of time we say we're having discussion with youth, but we want them to do what we want, right? And which is great, because we're parent. God put us over them to direct them. But at the same time, let's use an example. They're in school. We don't go to school with them, and a lot of time our children are being peer pressured in school, and you don't know that. And instead of us asking, we're telling them this is what you do. Because in junior high school, I had a young man that used to always pick on me. Always. When I came home and told my father, he said, if he hates you, if he does anything to you, don't come here crying. You make sure you hit him. You beat him up. First of all, I'm a girl. You're sending me to go beat a young man. I just came to the country. At least come to the school, try to figure out what's happening, talk to the teacher so then this young man can leave me alone. So when I graduated junior high school, going to high school, I was so happy because I didn't have to deal with them anymore. When I entered home club bar in high school, the first class to enter, who was sitting there? The young man. I just went, oh my God, this was going to be the worst 4 years of my life.
God.
So imagine the emotion I was going through. I seek for help. Instead of getting the help, my dad, that was his way of resolving the situation. Instead of saying, okay, what's going on? How do you feel? Go through the whole cycle with me. And then together we tried to find a solution. We ended up fighting in high school. And eventually
you and the boy?
Me and the boy. We ended up fighting in the high school. And then afterward, the parents came. And somehow at that time, I was living with my aunt who had a better understanding of the situation. And then she came to the school. Then I had peace. That could have been alleviated from the first time I told my dad this young man was speaking on me. But at the end, I learned that it's because he was attracted to me. That was his way of showing his love. But for me, that was harassing me. You're hating me. You're pulling my bag. That's not love. But that in his own way, that's how he learned what love was.
Love is.
Mm-hmm.
And then with your dad, he didn't, you have to give him grace too, because back then our parents used to tell us, go solve your problems like that. Like our parents, it's so, I don't, what's so funny? Like I'm from the generation of like Channel 10, Channel 5 news. I think he's coming down. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your parents are, right?
Yes.
Oh, so you remember that?
Your children, yes. Do you know where your children are?
Yo,
yes.
honestly, our parents, you're not getting a week. Like, meaning, I say it in French, but our parents is I come from a generation of fending for ourselves. So I understand when you guys go figure it out, because that's what our parents told us.
Tough love.
Go figure it out. That has nothing to do with
tough love.
My parents were barely any sports it would. I think it was just. I'm realizing almost all the households were like that. Like, we're from the generation that our parents was just like. I feel like it was like the animal kingdom. You know how the animals would stay with their little with their little animals for a couple of weeks, and after that they're like, okay, go fend for yourself. So I understand how you feel, because I was bullied too in school, and I used to have buck teeth, so they used to call me Bucky. Oh my God, like the years of just bullying, and I used to tell my parents. And my parents was just like, everyone gets bullied. Just deal with it. I'm like, what? Like, so I get what you're saying, how parents have to evolve. And I'm kind of happy that you got into the fight with the boy, because then your father would have never came to the school.
My aunt actually came at that time. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So your father still didn't come?
No, because again, my dad believed in tough love, which is good too, but we just have to learn to balance it.
Balance tough love. Okay, so when you got into that fight, what did you learn from that?
I learned to stand for myself, because I was always running. I've always run, and it was, for me, my dad said fight, but what can happen if he has a knife or a gun? I think a lot of consequences, right? Because in life you have 90 seconds to make a decision, right? 90 seconds. So within that 90 seconds, you anything can happen. Anything can happen. A trigger can be pulled. So I had to, Dad said to fight. he's a boy, probably stronger than me. Then if I fight, then what happened? If he pull a knife and stab me, then what happened? So I really try my best to avoid it. So learning from that, for me, it was good because I blocked out, because all the anger, everything from junior high school, I kept it inside. So when that day, he just literally pushed me. So I turn around and I don't know what happened until somebody pulled me off. Yeah, I blacked out, and that's why mental health is so important, because as the emotional pain and different things are happening with anyone, it adds up. So when your cup is full, then you don't know what your reaction is, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for therapy. I know, Danny, in our culture, it's a taboo.
It's a taboo. It's a taboo in the Black and brown community. I mean, like, when I talk about, go to therapy, they're looking at me like, we don't
Ufu,
there.
ufu,
You
ufu.
crazy. Like,
Yes.
therapy is for people who are just crazy. Anything else, figure it out, handle it. And no, it's not that simple anymore, especially with these kids growing up right now with social media and just seeing the world so early on in life. I didn't really see the world, honestly. I think I was like 16 years old when I realized, oh my God, this is the world. A lot of
Mm,
kids are experiencing the world at 5 years old because they're on the iPad. So think about the emotional, mental health capacity of a 5-year-old trying to take all this in and not understanding it because they don't have the concrete experience to know what it is. Right?
that's correct.
That's why, as parents, we have to be proactive in our children's mental health. And it has nothing to do with they're weak. It has nothing to do with, they're crazy. It has to do with the fact that their brain is an organ, and that's where the brain stores their feelings, and their brain stores where they make their choices. I mean, you just said it takes 90 seconds to make a choice, right?
Hmm.
Just imagine if you come from a place that is bullying, you get bullied a lot. Not to make an excuse, but think about the school shootings, right? I can't speak for, I'm not saying it's right at all, but I feel like it is a mental health thing. And I feel like how you just said it, it just builds up over years. Builds up over years. They just didn't have an escape. But just imagine if their parents introduced them to, sat down, talked to them, and said, and acknowledge their feelings, right?
Hmm.
And and that's why I wanted to acknowledge your feelings, and that's why I have empathy for you, because I understand the emotion of the fighting the boy, because nobody was listening to how you were feeling, so you had to handle it yourself.
So there's a different part for me, Dana, when listening and hearing someone, right? Because you can tell the person how you feel, and I know when you talk about the shooting, I don't want any parent to feel like they are the reason why every negative decision a child make, or bullying. Because sometimes you can do your best with the child, and depends on their surrounding and peer pressure, they make a decision that's totally against the value they learn from home, right? So
Yeah.
it's not every decision that is apparent. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that, so we don't send the wrong message to parents feel like, oh, I'm the blame for everything. But for me, what I really would like us, as me, I have a son, is really focusing on the love language of your child. Each one of us have a
I have
love
a feeling.
language, right? So you can get a child to do what you want to do, what you like them to do, so easily, if you can give them the love language. right? So they will not go back and forth with you. Just learn, get to know your child. Just like when we're in a relationship, right? You meet this guy, you meet this girl, you make the time to invest to get to know them. It's the same thing with having a child. When that child walk inside your house to the door, you should already know if that child had a good day or bad day by just making sure you look at your child, right? Same thing if you have a mate, same thing. So for me, we have to really invest, find out what our children are watching, because there's TikTok. TikTok is not allowed in China for youth, but yet here our youth have TikToks, and there's a lot of graphics in TikTok that children should not be watching, right? So we want to protect their mind now. And if you look at the rate of suicide, it's increasing. We need to ask ourselves why. And how do we avoid our children from being a victim of that? And it's not because you're rich or poor, because if you look at social media, you look at the internet, we have individuals who have money that their children are committing or taking their lives, right? So that for me, our goal and our mission is to really invest in our youth. Our youth, they are the future of tomorrow. Look at what's happening in Haiti now. They are giving our young people guns. Why? To kill each other. Where is the gun coming from? Who's giving it to them? And why? Right? How do we change that? EdeYouth, we build self-esteem, self-awareness, and self-improvement through different workshops. Mental health, EYP, which is empowering young people, where we have financial literacy in there. How do we invest? We have a lot of great partners. Nadine Morency, you had her in your show not too long ago, where we started bridging the gap for the youth. Where we look to do summer youth. We actually one of the site for summer youth, allowing our youth to have a job, right? So keeping them busy. When you have engaged youth, learning productive, educational things that they like, find out what your young person like to do, because each one of us has a purpose. Each one of us were born with a gift. See, the beautiful thing about it, you see how you do this wonderful interview. I've been watching you so smoothly, Danny. But that's not for me. So for me, I love young people. Young people will come to me and they talk to me about certain things, and we figure it out together. You don't, okay, what do you think? A lot of time they come, they just want somebody to listen. So what do you think? How do you solve it? What is your first plan? What time do you think you need to do that? What's your second plan? How does your parent feel about it? So with that, we listen to them. So I'm saying all of this to say our young people are the next Obama, the next president, the next generation. So it is so critically important that we take time now to invest in these young people, because it's sat in my heart that a young person, 7, 6, 8, 9, 20, 22, are taking their lives. Why? Why? And we have leaders like you, like me, and there's a lot of us. We want to talk about the problem, but how do we solve it? If your child is showing signs of depression, they don't want to take a shower. They don't care for self-care. They don't think about brushing their teeth. I'm not a therapist, but we have therapists that can help you with that. We have a workshop for the youth every last Friday of the month. We have workshop for parents every first Friday of the month to help them identify, is my child okay?
First, give everyone in the audience the handles of how they can connect with you with these workshops.
Okay. So our website is www.edeyouth.org. They can register in there. We are also in Instagram. We're in LinkedIn. We have our registration list where you can also register through there. So we have different ways you can register for the programs. Just visit us in our website, www.edeyouth.org. You could ask us questions, register, get involved. We are
And then when do you have the kids and when do you have the parents? So the audience knows.
The parents is every first Friday of the month, at 7 p.m. The youth from for, to youth from also young adults. It's every last Friday of the month at 7 p.m.
Okay, and in those workshops, you talk about different things, right? For instance, what do you talk about in those workshops? Give me an example so the audience can understand what do you exactly do. One for the parents workshop. How do you talk to the parents?
The workshop caters both. So, for example, last month workshop was how do you manage stress, especially during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have absence of mom or not working, so youth have stress too. Because I know I've heard my parents say, Upa get kai, upa pay what pay, upa fe manger. You're not paying rent. You don't have to buy food.
But
What
stress.
yeah, what kind of stress? You should not have stress. Youth have stress too. They're in school, they have exam. So how do they manage that, right? So we had that, and then what we do, we have the parents. How do you help your youth manage stress? So identify that when your child is going to the different emotional stress, and then how do you help them through it? If you know that you can provide their favorite food, like you can help keep that communication open, or creating that platform for them to talk about it, right? And then the therapists give printers how to do it, because we have two wonderful therapists, Zoe and Damien, and Fordham University even also granting us a lot of interns for our youth. We are grateful for that. These individuals, they really break it down to the parents and to the youth, different steps. How do you manage stress? Different topic: suicide, stress, depression, overeat, like eating or shopping. A lot of us know a lot different type of addiction.
That's me. Every time I'm stressed, my kids know me. All right, what's going on, Tua? I need some retail therapy right now. And you know what's so crazy? Then the next day I'm returning everything because I wake up and the next day I feel fine. I'm like, oh, why did I buy all this? All right, so my kids are like, they know the routine. One thing I learned with my children is when they're stressed, what I tell them is, okay, we're gonna go to your favorite restaurant so we can sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So the rule is, if we go to your favorite restaurant, then we're gonna sit down and talk. So they like, okay, like that is because the reason I like to take them sometimes outside the house is because sometimes, just being in a different environment it gives me a chance to just focus on them, because if I'm in the house sometimes I'm finding 50 things to do and I'm not listening to them because I'm doing the dishes and they're talking to me, or I'm cleaning this, or I'm cooking and talking to me. So I personally like to sit down, and they know this. We've been doing this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
We have parent child date. We have date nights. You know how couples have date nights like every other week?
Yes.
Just to connect and communicate, because sometimes you're going one way, they're going the other way, and you need to sit down somewhere and just catch up in what you're doing and catch up in what I'm doing. I translated that to have that with my daughters. So we have parent child date nights. We have
I
it
like that.
we have it twice a month, where we just sit down, no iPads. They'll even tell mommy, make sure your phone is off. They're like, mommy, if you want us to give you your full attention, your phone on. So we just have the phone off, and we're very annoying about it, like talking, but we get to the bottom of how we're feeling. Like one of my daughters, I don't know what it is about a child, but she thinks I have twins, and she thinks the other child is a favorite. She always, I try so hard to be equal with these kids. And she told me the other day, she's like, look, Mom, I know we've had this conversation before, and they're only 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to do something about you always picking her because she's a favorite. And I'm like, where is this coming from? But I know, like, it's bothering her because she always says it, right? So as a parent, I remember my younger sister was a favorite, and I was a black sheep. I was a black sheep because I didn't become a nurse. I didn't become a doctor. I wasn't a lawyer. Both of my sisters are nurses. My brother's a nurse. You know how the Haitian family is, if you don't do X, Y, and Z,
Medical, yes.
you're the black sheep. So my parents was just looking at me like, yeah, whatever. It's like, but you know what? I had to prove to them that I would still be successful not picking things. But I appreciate what you're doing with the parents, because you have to break the generational trauma of the parents too, because they're not used to really talking to their kids.
Correct.
You know what? If it wasn't for me just reading a lot of books and doing research, I would probably be like my parents and not even talk to my kids. As soon as they start crying, go to your room. I don't want to hear it. Like, and I told myself I did not want. I love my parents, but I did not want to be like them. I am like them somewhat, but I did not want to be like them 100%. And there was areas that I did not like. I didn't like how they communicated with us. I didn't like how they didn't care about our feelings. I didn't like how, and I would. I have another question to ask you. Even I had diaries at 12, 11. I still have them.
Me too.
And I'm being honest with you, it breaks my heart because I used to write in there, I'm so depressed. I don't want to go to school. I hate my life. I hate myself. You know, and there was a couple of times where I would say, I don't want to be here anymore. I was 13, so 11. And I know why. I was being bullied. And I would tell my parents, and maybe because they were immigrants and they had 3 jobs, they were like, go do, we can't, they didn't know. And I went through hell. Like, yo, I went through hell because I forgot how it felt. So I can't even imagine what these babies are going through in this society, in the complex of this world. Because at least when I was growing up, the world was simple. It's just kids were mean, right? So I didn't really know. I was poor, but everybody was poor around me. So I didn't have an iPad to see that there was rich people. You know what I mean? So then we would just rank. The word used to be ranking. We used to just rank about our clothes, our teeth. My mom didn't bring me to the hair salon. I used to have like the Haitian braids. Like, you understand what I mean? Like, Haitian parents was not. I would wear reject clothes. Haitian parents was not spending money on nothing that was like brand, like Nike, Reebok. No, we wasn't wearing that. So the reason it hurts me when these children are in pain is because I don't know, because I remember like I wanted to kill myself.
See, I think the value to Danni, we look at brand, right? We look at what entertainment or television tell us there's a certain look that we should look like. And our youth just gravitate towards that. And I know one thing I have to say about our Haitian people, which I'm so proud to be Haitian. I love my Haitian people. Your parents would not have sent you to school dirty.
No.
You may not have brand clothes, but that's not who you are. Brand Nike, that doesn't define you, right?
No.
And look how you went through a lot, and look what you're doing now, right? So you were supposed to go through that to be that woman that you are here today. The only thing for me, I know our youth are going through that, and I went through a lot too. But for me, my obstacle is the fuel that I have now to help, because the time I was going through everything, I wish there was an EdeYouth that can help me understand what was happening, because I was placed in foster care at the age of 16. So I moved to Fawakaway. Yes, I moved to Fawakaway, moving with a whole new family.
Really?
She had 4 boys. Yeah, she had like 4 boys. Again, that's still learning different things, moving. Throughout my entire life, that's all I did. I just moved, and I moved in plastic bags, right? So I was so happy to learn now the agencies in the foster care system give the youth bags, like suitcases. So I started a petition. I said, no. And I told them how I felt. Every time I was moving to someone else's house, I had a plastic bag, like a garbage bag. So I told them I didn't feel that it was proper that we should do that. I wrote a letter to whoever was in charge, and eventually I got people to sign it. And I thank God I don't know if my letter or the letter, if you got to the right desk, but all I know now, a lot of the foster agencies, they provide suitcases for the youth.
But
So
see how that experience built you to be a leader. Even though it was sad that you were going from foster care to foster care for foster care, look how God works. It was building your character of who you are today. Wouldn't it be great for us to communicate to the youth that even if you're going through hard times, it's building your character of what you will be tomorrow?
and that's what it is, Danny. We each of us were born with a purpose, right? In order for you to fit in into your purpose, you have to go through training. Nobody has a job and just jump on it from have a snap of a finger. Everything I went through, I would not change anything at all
Me either.
because I was supposed to go through it to have the passion and the love that I have now. Just on Monday, we took our youth to Washington D.C.
Oh,
What a what a better day to bring
on
them on
MLK Day,
MLK Day, learning about MLK, learning about the history.
Martin
And I
Luther King Jr.
Yes, I
Yes,
love the African history, how they did the setup. From the bottom floor comes like to the 16th, and then you get to the 17th, and to now to 2023, right? So even Oprah has a nice place in there. Just learning where we started from slavery, where we're not even allowed to drink, right? You got Martin Luther King that was able to do that. Malcolm X, you have all these activists, right? In every generation, God raised a leader. So I want each of the youth that is listening right now, and this generation, God is ready to raise you. Your past, your obstacle is not what determine who you are. Who you are, you were born with it. Your gift is inside of you. Nobody gave it to you. You just gotta learn to know what it is and sharpen it. And then I don't know if it's not just one of my youth who I'm going to vote for to be the next councilwoman. I don't know, but God knows. They know. So our job is to find out, what is your purpose? What is your gift? What do you like to do? And then let's help that. Let's build on that, capitalize on that. And then you have this beautiful, wonderful flower, right? And then that's just shining. And then you have this, and then once you start with one, and then you start with a community, and look how we're changing lives.
you guys, EdeYouth is changing a lot of lives, a lot of lives. And I know a lot of kids, even when I went to the gala, was so appreciative of you and your husband and the rest of your team of how much you give back to them, because sometimes you do need that adult to guide you and help you. And you are doing so much with EdeYouth that you are helping those kids get through the times that we had, right? Get past that. And and make them understand that we all go through hard times. Every human goes through hard times, but it's like but it's building you to be a better person, and your experiences will help someone else because they'll see you push through, and then they'll look at you like, wow, you went through all this hardship and you pushed through, then I can push through too. So it gives hope to the children.
That's correct. But for me, I know you said you. I have to correct that. With all due respect, it's we, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ada Youth would not stand without having an Annette, Chansey, all the board members and every supporters, every donors. I am not doing this by myself. I cannot take any credit. First, I give credit to the God, the man upstairs, God, who put this passion and this love in my heart. But Daddy, thank you. Even if all my I have sponsors, I have mentors. You saw the gala, all these
Yes. I
individuals.
saw the gala, and I've been on the calls of you talking to the parents about the importance of mental health. And sometimes parents don't know. I talk to parents all the time. Therapy is not something really discussed in this country. Mental health is not something that's really discussed. Even insurance companies really don't really cover it the way they should cover it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of parents don't know how you're right. Some parents did all the right things for their child, and they just don't understand how their child ended up, how they are, right? But you're right. It's parents just learning to have a conversation with their kid and asking for help.
And I like what you do. You have date night with your children. And I love that when you said, I put my phone away, no distraction. That is so important because what you do, you're teaching them you are important to me. This person on the phone, I can put that aside and focus on you. And when we do our workshop with our youth, we do have the culinary workshop. We also dining etiquette. The dining etiquette that we really emphasize with putting the phone away, because the person in front of you this today, tomorrow is not promised to any one of us, Danny. Life is life. We don't know when we're leaving. Each one of us have an expiration date. Just like when you buy food in the refrigerator or at the supermarket, there's an expiration date. We, as human beings, also have an expiration date. We have to make sure that the reason why we were born really come out. You don't want to die with the gift. So that's why it's so important. The person in
I love
front of
that.
you,
You don't want to die with the
the
gift.
gift.
You don't want to die with your purpose.
No.
No.
Because the television or the camera you're using now, someone invented it, right? If that person died, would we have that camera now? So every one of us has that gift. So I said all of that to really conclude when we are having dinner, and I see people in date, parents, you're sitting at a restaurant, they're on social media. Why?
They don't even
Why,
talk to each other.
why do you take your child out and then you're on social media? Why do you go on a date with someone if you're not interested in getting to know the person? Because there's always something new about that person that day that you don't know. Find out their aspiration. Ask them what's the plan that they have. Get to know the person. You never, even a husband and wife who's been married for 30, 40, 50 years, there's always something to discover about the person. There's always something new to learn about each other. Or talk about something, or a book, something, share something. But don't stay on social media. It aches my heart when I go out and I look around the restaurant intentionally to just see who's really investing the time. We need to invest the time in our relationships, and we need to do it now.
You know what I tell my kids? If I'm gonna go pay all this money, no one's gonna be on social media. Because I said to them, we might as well just stay home. And my kids get it. I'm like, do not even talk to me about it. So it goes vice versa. Because if I'm gonna go out and spend all this money, I'm like, why am I sitting on the phone? I have to enjoy time with the person who's in front of me. That's the reason why we're out having dinner. So when I see kids and parents and they're all on their social medias, you know what breaks my heart is the kids, because I know the kids want to connect with their parents. That's what really breaks my heart. Adults could kind of like, they're adults, but when I see the kids want to connect with their parents and their parents are on their cell phones, that's what breaks my heart, because a parent is missing out on the opportunity to know their kids even deeper.
Correct.
Even deeper. That's why I parents, please. I know we're all addicted to our phones, but when we're around family, let's just put our phones down and talk to our family directly. Because I have nephews that upstairs, they'll text me, "What's for dinner?" I'm like, come downstairs. Come find out. Why are you texting me?
Don't respond.
Why are you texting me?
Don't
I want to say thank you, Betty, Augustine, for coming on. I am proud of you, sis. I'm so proud of you. EdeYouth is an amazing organization. For anyone out there who wants to contribute to this organization, please just give them your handles one more time, Betty.
www.edeyouth.org. EdeYouth. Ede means help in Haitian Creole. Thank you.
And then I know you're going to have a gala in November again.
Yes.
So hopefully everyone go into the website and follow them, so you can come to this amazing gala, so you can see all the work that her and her team, board members, husband included, what they're doing for the youth in regards to mental health in our communities. So I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for sitting with us and just listening to us talk about mental health. And thank you for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis.
Thank you, Danny, for having me. Please, I hope you to see your guests because we're having a vision board workshop coming next month. Thank you for this time. Thank you for being candid and sharing your story with me.
Yes, and we got to do this again because we have so many deep stories. But I will come and follow you so I can know about when you're having your vision board workshop. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try and certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.